What were you referring to, K-Raid? The with the seems like a slam dunk. Is the half walls or? Because there's a ton of stuff in the game that I feel like would make sense in the game, and would be a slam dunk, but it always is like we're always moving against time, and like there's a lot of stuff that needs to happen too. But I actually don't know what we have planned going forward. So but please upload that on the QA side if you want to see something specific, and then maybe we'll change our minds if enough people complain about it. With the small wall pieces. Yeah, technically yes. But I think people are asking for like, not height half walls, but like half wall the other side. Yeah, like doorways, yeah. It's possible that it's like easy to do, and we just... But there's a ton of stuff... Okay, there's a ton of stuff in the game that are easy to implement, but we never get around to it because there's so many other things that are easy to implement and do. So it's tied to that more so than anything, not more so than like whether, and that comes back into like the whole prioritization thing, right? What should we prioritize? Like, is it more important to get half walls? Actually, this is a really good example actually. So like, we can look at it as saying like, is it more important to get half walls than it is to fix, like the gas mask not working in vehicles, right? What's more important, half walls or gas mask working in vehicles? So like, these are the type of decisions we're... Yes! So like, it's those type of questions that we have to ask ourselves a lot of times. And I think it can be quite divided in community. Architecture comes first. I think it's quite divided in community as like what's most important, and that's why I'm talking about that like prioritization thing, where like we prioritize on what we feel is important. Like we don't want a buggy game, and we don't want to feel buggy. But maybe like it's okay for certain things to be buggy if we have other features in, for instance. But how do you communicate that, you know? So like those are the kind of things that we're constantly tackling when we're deciding on like what to prioritize. And that's why the QA side is so important, because if we see that like thousands of people are voting on half walls and then like 5 people are voting for like, why can't you fix gas masks in vehicles? And as far as I know, a lot more people want gas masks to work in vehicles than having half walls. I'm not saying that this is an actual example of like, either get one of those, but like this is sort of, there's a bunch of those things that we're constantly like dividing our attention towards. So that's why it's hard to say yes or no to certain things. Gas walls, solved it. So that's why it's hard to like say yes and no to certain things, because we actually don't know what we'll get around to fixing, given that there are so many things to get around to. And like with the example of half walls, for instance, it's not just like implementing the mesh it's just like piece of the problem. Then we also need to add it to the game so you can like unlock it. Where do you unlock it? We need to make thumbnails. We need to set up the buildable itself. We need to test the buildable. Like there's a whole and like usually when it comes to stuff where it affects a lot of departments, those take longer to do than an example of fixing the gas mask, because fixing the gas mask, like that's a programmer that needs to get around to that and fix that. Whereas with implementing half walls, that's like UI, art team, programmers, designers need to come together so we can implement that. And and like that goes into multiple disciplinaries for like different things. And then, but then same thing can be said about gas mask. Like maybe it's not just a programmer, but it's just like the initial perception is like, once we start fixing it, we realize, oh, maybe we need like a little bit of UI stuff to make it switch or something like that. I don't know. So complicated. Oh boy.